Hello there and welcome back to MidLife Rises. As you can see, we are in the summer session. It is hot. We have been dealing with serious, we want to say heat waves because we were tipping 100 degrees here in the New York area. I want to apologize for the time that we've had off. I just came back from Miami. My goodness, the July the 4th holiday was nice. I went out to spend some time with my grandkids. It was amazing. So I have 4 grandkids, 2 that lives here and 2 in Miami. It's kind of hard because, as you know, Miami is a good ways from New York City. But the little time was good. I went and I spent a good couple of days, almost 10, so that was nice. So today I'd like to talk about loving the one you're in, so don't go away. Yeah, so it's all based on self-love, which we are in the midst of doing right now on the 28-minute talk show. I didn't want to have you guys wait for that because I still have to complete the editing. But yeah, this temple that we live in, this should apply to both men and women, but this is a woman's talk show, so I will always be pointing out that our main focus is to the midlife woman. We have a lot that we have endured coming up to this time. I'm not going to touch base too much with the woman over 40 because that's still fairly young, even though we are considered obsolete once we get over 40. But I'm talking more or less like 50 and over 60 kind of thing. Because at this stage, we have had a lot that we've been dealing with coming to this time. So the program in our heads were already designed. A lot of us are dealing with different insecurities, traumas, and conversely, so are the men. But they are the ones more or less that are getting to dictate the narrative because we have the partners, we have the husbands. We are in a relationship more or less with the opposite sex. For the most part, I know the last 28-minute piece we did was on homosexuality and the different reasons why it would happen. But we still do have a good bit of couples that are, it's men and women, straight, if you will. So this is what I want to talk about now because regardless of what, the men, they go through the traumas, the mom, the dad situations, and they never deal with it. And then they wind up in relationships, marriages, partnerships, and they're abusive. I want to tell you that constant sadness, and I'm going more into details on the 28-minute piece, but constant sadness brings on depression and a lot of other mental situations. Bipolar, borderline personality disorders, narcissism, sociopaths. I'm not going to get too much into details with that stuff, but that is pretty much someone like the narcissist that are not sensitive to the other person, pretty much sensitive to themselves, that are not willing to take accountability for the things that they do. And they pretty much project what they feel onto the other person. What I'm talking about here right now is to basically keep yourself centered regardless of whatever kind of abuse is thrown at you. To be able to understand who you are as an individual and not to depend on another person to validate you. Because if you do that and you're dealing with someone of one of the groups that I talked about, you will be in a lot of trouble. I mean, like lots and lots of trouble. For example, if you're dealing with someone with narcissistic personality disorders, this individual pretty much likes to provoke. And when they provoke, you will react. And when you react, you're giving that supply, which is what they need. I'm talking about this because the abuse is massive. Lying is part of the disorder, but these are just very abusive individuals, and you need to be aware of that. You also want to be aware of the group that are not comfortable with their sexuality, because if you're dealing with someone that has that problem and you're attractive like myself, yeah, I can say that. I mean, I'm not conceited or anything. I'm not pretty. I'm very attractive, and sometimes that can be a problem in a relationship. Even if you are not pretty or you're not attractive, you should have something that you feel good about within yourself, and you capitalize on that. Do not let anyone rob you of your self-respect. It starts there. And the reason why we are pressing on the self-love is because it has to be felt on the inside in order for it to permeate on the outside. I mean, even if someone is not good looking or attractive, if they are confident within themselves, then that's all it takes. They will shine that light. So this stuff is, it's all very important to keep your balance at this stage, because we all want to have that relationship, and sometimes we fall into the wrong groove. We let someone, the wrong person in, and that person can work to break you, and next thing you know, you're not emotionally stable. The items that we are going to be covering more in the 28 minute, and that will be coming up soon, is to just try and love the one you're in. Take care of yourself, and don't do it because of the other person. Do it for you. Feel good about yourself. Take care of your temple. Things like flying in and out of beds, interacting with different sex partners. These are things you do not want to engage in, especially at this time. And I'll tell you why. You have to now think about, what kind of life is the other person living? Are they being responsible? What do they have attached to them that they can end up transferring to you? You can account for yourself, but you can't account for the other person. So just be responsible, and it starts with the self-love. The foods you put in your body, the things that you do, try to do it, within reason. Do everything as a preference and not an obsession, and you'll be just fine. As adults, as I said before, a lot of men, and women do it as well, but I will point out the men here because they try to work with being masters at manipulation. And when you spend time doing that, you're not facing your issues. You are not doing the work. And again, doing the work is facing your insecurities, your inner battles, facing them head on, and trying to fix it so that you can have a healthy relationship with not only other people, but within yourself, being able to spend time with yourself and loving yourself. Like, I love a beautiful man. I'm not just going with that, I have to see other things. I like a man that's reserved, respectful. I like a conservative person. It's not all about loving yourself and being comfortable within yourself, because we all have to have that special one in our lives. Even if we're spending a lot of time alone, eventually you have to be with someone. You have to be in a relationship. We are here to love and be loved, kind of thing. So you have to be engaging, and you've got to pay attention, especially as a middle-aged woman. You have to, because you have all kinds of men that are out here working on breaking confident women that are high on life. You want to make sure that you first do what you have to do to be whole within yourself, and then find someone that will add to your happiness. You're not looking for someone to make you happy. You will be pretty much looking for someone to add to your happiness. I mean, it's crazy out here right now, but life, it's beautiful. It's beautiful when you are flying straight, when you are living in the light, not in the darkness where you're dealing with depression and all these other mental disorders. These things come about from not being able to cope. We've got to be truthful to ourselves, and this is where the me time and stuff comes in. You've got to be able to live with yourself before you can try to be with someone else. You've got to be able to love yourself before you are able to engage in loving someone else. And for the women who I'm pretty much talking to today, you have to pay attention, because you're not going to do the work and then allow someone to come in and break everything that you've worked for over the years. A lot of us spend time focusing on things that we feel will that's the status quo, pretty much. We'll run for the big house, we'll run for the luxury car, and we will ignore what we need to feel whole within ourselves. And when we get these things, we need to find something else that will help to identify us, and it shouldn't be like that. We all have something to offer. We all had stuff that we went through, and it is our responsibility, each and every one of us, to make sure that we fix what we feel is broken inside so that we can have that fulfilling life, so that we can have that fruit of the Spirit and give love and be loved. Okay? But it starts with you. Love the one you're in. That's the message today. We are not working on ourselves. We're not looking to fix things, to fix the inner battles, and yet we're looking to control someone else. I think that's hysterical. Spending time trying to fight clout. What about focusing on self? Building humility, building that character, integrity, and emotional intelligence. These are the important things that will come back to bite us years later that a lot of people don't pay attention to. And I think this is where all of the mental disorders start to hit. So this is what I'm talking about today. My message today is to just focus on self. Love the one you're in. Start to take care of you, and then everything else, in my opinion, starts to fall into place. Okay? We are working on the 28-minute piece. We'll be coming out with that shortly. I just didn't want to have any more time go by because I don't know where time is trying to go, but it is flying. So I hope you all had a fabulous holiday. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Okay? You take care now.